Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning, Rinnie.
I was just wondering if you've had your coffee yet this morning.
I actually did, and it was really, really strong and really, really hot and really, really good.
Do you feel energized?
I feel, it's kind of weird because I drink decaf coffee, but it's the thing that I do in the morning. So yes, I do feel energized and I'm ready to start this day.
Hello, everyone in podcast land this morning. This is Rinnie, or Associate Director of WEBB Squared, and your podcast host. And I just wanted to share that I have a habit of going swimming twice a week. And I'm bummed that the swimming pool is under renovations and closed. Stephanie and listeners, is closed for 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And I have a pool here that I never use. Anyway, hi everyone out there listening. My name is Stephanie Terry. I'm the Executive Director of WEBB Squared. And a lot of people don't know this about me, but I absolutely positively love to knit. It relaxes me. And I just am not in the habit of picking up my knitting needles.
That's so interesting, Stephanie. And I just think that this is a great way of talking to our listeners and tell them that we're going to be focusing on habits for the next few weeks.
Yes, this is a much needed conversation for myself because there's a couple of habits that I want to start incorporating into my life. So awesome. But before we start talking about habits, we want to just review all of the information that we've been sharing about mindsets, because we know that everything starts with how we think about things. So, Rinnie, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, I was just thinking about our conversation on cycle of socialization and how the brain works. And one of the things that we talked about was a lot of the behaviors and ways we think about things arrive very early on in life before we even have our conscious minds to think about things. And so, the way the brain develops, we only use on a regular basis only 10% of our conscious mind, and the rest of our emotions and feelings and habits and patterns, they're all coming from our subconscious mind. About 90% of it coming from our subconscious mind.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And so the main point that we want to continue to lift up around a lot of our deepest beliefs, a lot of our habits, a lot of our biases, a lot of our perspectives are just kind of like beyond our conscious awareness. And when things and information and feelings and emotions and habits live beyond our conscious awareness, they have a lot of control. And so it's what we don't see that is most often in control of our lives. And so that's why we're having these conversations, so that we can have more control about what we want to experience.
And I think it's really interesting that this subconscious way of controlling our life also affects like our physical body. Like we have habits that we do just physically every day. We might like get up and go brush our teeth, and those are things that we don't even have to think about doing, we just do. And that the mind and body are in constant communication with each other, even if we're not aware of that communication.
So what we're trying to say here is our mind's programming generates our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. And then our brain processes all of these interactions, and that operates our bodily systems. So there truly is a mind-brain-body connection that actually connects to the zones of awareness and the what was the panic
the panic reactions.
Panic reactions, all of that is connected. And so we're hoping to understand those connections better so that we can create and experience and control better what we want showing up in ourselves.
Yeah, because I think understanding this knowledge of how the brain works and how our minds work, it just gives us more control on how we can use the combined power of both our conscious and unconscious minds in order to help us become more healthy and flexible, resilient, and be able to support our goal setting in very productive ways.
Yeah, and I would say that the benefits of that, I know, for me, have been a better self-worth, less angst, and just a more controlled ability to achieve the things that I want to achieve and to move through life with a lot more efficiency.
Yeah, so we want to just lift up that we can consciously and actively decide to choose which behaviors we want to incorporate in our life, which habits we want to have, and even like how our mind scripts that we have, we can consciously go in and say, that mind script doesn't quite work for me and I want to change it to something else.
Absolutely. We actually can kind of deprogram and reprogram ourselves.
So that said, Stephanie, we both have habits. We know what our habits are. Is there any that you feel compelled that you want to add or change or modify?
Yeah, so there are like two things that I absolutely love doing that I don't do because it's not a habit and life crowds it out. So I want to like make rituals around these things. So the first thing is what I shared. I absolutely love knitting. Oh my God. It makes me so happy. It's the one thing that I can do. It's the one thing that I do that I am not thinking at all. Like it's just completely meditative. So, and I love the end results. And I even like the idea of like just me being that still, just sitting and knitting. It's just such a wonderful thing. So I want to do more knitting. And the other thing that I absolutely love doing is writing, but not writing grants.
No, not the grants.
Writing poetry, like writing stories and writing my ideas down. And I realized because we're running a nonprofit, because we are, constantly coaching entrepreneurs and developing partnerships and relationships, that if I don't make a habit out of these two things that I love to do, they really just won't get done. What about you, Rinnie?
Well, I have a habit that I think is not like a productive habit at all. And I go to bed every night thinking tomorrow I'm going to get up really early and I'm going to put on my clothes and go for a walk. And I wake up really early and I pick up my little electronic device and I start playing video games. And then an hour might go by and I'll be like, oh my God, I just spent an hour. My first thing I did this morning was play all these stupid electronic games. And, by then it's like, it's time to have tea or, put clothes on, start getting ready for work. So that's something I'd like to change. Maybe it's like I give myself permission on Mondays to get up and play video games, but the rest of the days I get up and go for a walk.
Right. These video game programmers have figured out how to turn their little gadgets into habits.
Yeah, I know. And the insidious part of it is that you get to a certain part in the game and they cut you off and make you watch an ad before you can go any further. And so it's all like marketing for other games and other products. And it just drives me crazy. But I really want to play the game because my fingers and my body, it's just used to playing the game every day. So I would like to change that.
Yeah, we're gonna hack the hackers because trust me, they study this stuff.
I would also like to incorporate more art time. I just feel like I've fallen a ways on producing art. I need more motivation, I guess, around like maybe that should be my morning routine instead of like getting out the video game, getting out the paints and paintbrushes. But part of that is also the cleanup time, you know. So anyway, whatever. But those are some things I'd like to work on.
Okay. So Rennie, just share briefly, like what actually is a habit? I mean, we're using this word and we should define it.
Okay. Well, it's an easy thing to remember because it's called the 3 R's. And you break it down, it's routines, repeated, regularly. And that's easy. It's just the 3 R's is the definition of habit. Routines repeated regularly. And most of the time, these routines are coming from us unconsciously, from our subconscious mind. We've been programmed into them and we do them without even thinking.
I love that. Routines repeated regularly. Routines repeated regularly. And I guess the part of the start is the routine. Getting into that routine.
And, you know, our bodies just become used to doing it and over and over and over again. So our body actually knows how to do it better than our conscious mind, you know? Getting ourselves off the couch at night to go brush our teeth, we don't think about it, we just do it.
Yep. Well, I'm just like super excited to delve into developing some habits, because what I am finding is the habits that I do have are hard to change, and the habits that I want to have are even harder to implement. So I need to keep doing a refresher on how we can how I can go about implementing some of these new habits into my life.
Well, the great thing, Stephanie, is in these next series of podcast episodes, we'll continue to focus on habits. We'll talk about cues and triggers and how they all have an impact in our mind when it's, we'll talk about cues and triggers and how they create a tension in us that we want to resolve by doing something we're used to be doing. The emotional, the behavior patterns that arrive of the habits, and we're going to be implementing one of your favorite things. It's like hacks.
I love hacks, and I'm going to tell you, the way I'm talking about this is like I'm hearing it for the first time, and it's not. You know, I think the first time we talked about habits, Rinnie, was a year ago, 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago. And if you don't repeat information, you lose it. So I'm excited about going over this again because it's, like I said, I have a vested interest in this conversation.
Before we leave, Stephanie, do you have anyone you want to talk about during our gratitude moment?
I'm just really, really, really grateful for friends. I'm grateful for our friendship. I'm grateful. I have 2 girlfriends that I've known for over like 30 years, like over most of my life. And I am so grateful to have them in my life. I'm grateful to just be able to talk to people that have seen me grow up. So shout out to the friends. I'm grateful for this work, Rinnie. This work is constantly challenging and inspiring and revitalizing me. So I'm grateful for the work that we do. What about you?
Well, I just want to give a special shout out to Joseph Holmes. our new team member who comes to us from AmeriCorps Vista. And one of these days, we hope that we will get him on the podcast to talk about something that, with us and have a conversation with us. But he's been here 2 weeks, and I feel lighter already. He's already did his first, communication out to all our entrepreneurs, and he's been calling people and getting them to our event next week. And I'm just really, really grateful to have Joseph on the team.
I am too. Joseph, welcome, Joseph. We're growing. I love it. All right.
I think we're ready to roll. Stephanie, do you want to close us out?
All right. Like we love to say, our evolution begins with dialogue. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time.
Food for thought. In our June 24th blog post, Monday Mindset, the Company You Keep, we encouraged you to think about finding an appropriate accountability partner to help you stay on track while you're building your business. As part of our Mindset project at WEBB, we want to form a Monday Mindset group accountability session the third Mondays of each month, starting in September, going October and November of 2024. Join us at 6:30 p.m. on September 16th via Zoom to stay motivated and accountable, share progress reports, and receive support and encouragement from one another. Also, much of our understanding and conversation on habits comes from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. The book is available at Amazon for $13 or wherever you get your books. Stephanie and I highly recommend it. Thank you for listening to the Remedy Podcast, a mindset shifting project of WEBB. Wealth Through Entrepreneurship for Black and Brown Businesses is a North Carolina nonprofit located in Chatham County. We offer incubator, accelerator business services to Black and BIPOC entrepreneurs. Our podcast hosts are Stephanie Terry and Rinnie, the co-founders of WEBB. We realize that building an ecosystem of support is critical to achieving our mission. Your donation to WEBB supports the podcast, WEBB's coaching services, and the promotion of the businesses and entrepreneurs we serve. To learn more about WEBB, please visit our website at webbsquared.org.